Okay, everyone. So this is my follow-up. I know I released a pretty successful pre-patch for just kind of like splashing into what they gotten into the mystery of the 12.8, and now we actually have the patch notes, and it's not too much that gives us a lot to dig into, but we have, as you can see, a lot of the tabs that I have pulled up there, a lot to go over, which is going to be pretty hilarious, but a lot of patches and a lot of bugs that has been introduced into this little conundrum. So, as you can see, hey everyone, due to the issues involved in the side missions later on in the game, we released a hot fix. And again, this is a hot fix to resolve some of the minor bugs, which turned into major bugs because now there's rendering issues, what even makes freaking Iron Mike's crew invisible. And I'll show you guys and gals that in a second, after we get past the patch notes. So it fixed an issue that involves some of the marauder camps, hunts, and side missions. So that's an issue that I have experienced myself. Improves the lighting for the boss fights in the Crater Lake area. Very nice. There were some darker parts that I had started to notice, so it's kind of cool. And it would also make sense since the HDR is now broken inside of this, and I do not kid you not, the graphics and rendering are pretty much almost broken and shattered in this 1.09 update, which seems like them fixing minor bugs, but them also adding a lot for the DLC that'll be coming into play, and then minor and miscellaneous crashes. The current plan for our team is slowing down the amount of patches we release, so they're giving us like the, hey, this is going to be towards the tail, and we're going to start working towards more DLCs, which isn't good considering how rickety wrecked this game is. So hot facts and hot like fixes. This hot fix will definitely be patched pretty soon. It can definitely almost fill that in the whole portion. So you can kind of see that I brought up like where I normally go into the Reddit scene. We're just kind of pulling some stuff up. This was kind of one that I thought was interesting. I figured I wanted to pull up this, which emerged about a day later, where it says the type of bug, progression, with the description, with the proof of Ricky, where she is welding the truck together. Then they have a screenshot, which we can pull up right here. Let's see. I think that's just that dude's. Oh, interesting. All those right there. But yeah, I'm not trying to be too much into the whole portion of that. But we can also see the past the portion of where they detail this and where you have the opportunity to see that you're not alone. The 1.9 did ruin a lot of things in that situation. Now, I didn't encumber that, but what I did encumber were a few different things that you can get into gameplay. Now, personally, myself, I thought this was kind of cool and I can kind of bring it up in the background as we have into the gameplay of what's going on. And you can kind of see me there, and then I kind of challenge a bear. Well, I shouldn't have challenged a bear. But, you know, all set aside as I set aside the joking portions of where the hilarity of this, like, thumbnail came into play. Yeah, that bear is really pissed off. I tried to, like, take it out, but nah, it got the better end. But let's go ahead and get down to the really serious bare necessities. And the bare necessities are up next. What these are up next right here, as you can kind of see, were a few of them that I encumbered. Now this is the most recent one. I just finished gameplay and I wanted to kind of play a little bit longer. I said I was going to have this a little bit closer, but I didn't really get down to it until later on because I was like, oh hey, you know what, let me let this chronologue. It seems like it's super broken right now, so there might be a lot of fun stuff that will emerge onto Reddit, and it kind of seems like a lot of this stuff's happening to me, but a lot of the stuff I've been posting on Reddit, people have been, you know, feeding back with the whole portion of, yeah, you know what, you're not the only one. We've also been experiencing some pretty crazy crap as well. So you can kind of see right now where the zombie is going to bug out. I hit that, but if you look over where the car is, there's literally a zombie just like stuck inside of there, which can't get out. It's kind of really hilarious. I literally had to throw a pipe bomb inside of there and like wasted a few of them in order to actually get the physical zombie out. And I can bring this up right here later on. It should have been the next slide. So go ahead and get out of this one, which is the tail end, and I don't want to get into that little spoiler portion. Adding in all that fun stuff right there. Now, these are the fun ones that I've hit before. This was post 1.9, and I could deal with these. These weren't too bad for as far as this. This one literally like jettisoned my bike in the air like a freaking catapult right as I freaking got like this right here. It was pretty hilarious. Goes up and it goes down. Bam. Now, another one that I thought was the more recent one, which was like what I was getting back for the invisibility, which broke the rendering graphics, which you can kind of tell. Look at the person's head right there. There's no body. And they're even smoking a cigarette. But the more funnier thing is when they smoke the cigarette, their body renders in and the cigarette renders out. And they toss it like hella Hollywood status. It's ridiculous. See, look at that. Done. Gone. Like he had it in his hand and then he Houdini'd it and it disappears. One of those most hilarious things that you're just like, what the hell just happened? So those are a few things that just happened to me directly on top of that. Now this one was the more major one, which gave me the more indicator that it was breaking. You see no signal, all of a sudden my HDR card's like, what's going on? And then this pink, the HDR brokenness. I got this once on Red Dead. It was like one of their very, very early situations. They weren't like too horribly like broken. It was just like something like later on that they like patched up that like made it functionable. But you can kind of see it's like everything is just ridiculous right now. All right, so now we just come out to the very last one, which I saved for the very end. And this one's the more interesting one. I'll go ahead and pull this one up as we finish this with this slide. So as you can see, I'm coming up into one of the main missions, and one of the main missions that actually came into play that I thought that was kind of ridiculous was the fact that like you have more of the situational point of how it could come into play for as far as like the missions that can just show how bad the rendering happens again. And you can kind of see right here, now this is another game that I'm pretty stoked about. I thought I'd kind of post this real quick for as far as the situation, and that's like the new Until Dawn sequel. But that's pretty sweet. But you can see it just went completely to black. You can see I'm looking around like what's going on, and it starts to like flicker. But like more the funnier part is later on when I realize it, it's right around 5.5 minutes. I realized that I can start pressing Option to get into the menu. So in order to actually access the menu, you had to press the Option in order to get to it. And then you'd have to reset it in order to actually get into it. So a lot of these missions that you're having issues in 1.09, you literally have to reset them. There's graphic points, as you can see that I fixed it right there. So there's a lot of crazy stuff that's happening inside this game, unfortunately, that's just breaking. Definitely stay tuned for as far as like what's going to be like coming up to play in the near future, for as far as like more patch notes and more things that are going to be like more funner into the point of what we'll be getting into. But this is your boy MacGyver7th signing out. I'm gonna go ahead and say have a very, very nice day, everyone, and I'll see you guys and gals in the future. And if you have any other questions, like bugs that you've experienced in 1.09, share a link of what your I guess experience have, if you have it on like on a Reddit post, which would be kind of cool, or in a situational point of just like drop of what's going on. I'd be very interested to hear what people are experiencing throughout the whole situation. But I'll see you guys and gals in the near future, and take it easy. And if you're new to the network and you've already gained out of this much, you might as well like, share, and subscribe.